Hello everyone and welcome to another Feed.Army video. In this video I will explain to you how to exclude products in Google Ads or in Google Merchant Center. However, before you do that, make sure that you've exhausted every opportunity that you can implement. For example, improve the data feed quality by changing the title, the description, the image, etc. Also add extra attributes to ensure that you have maximized the data feed quality, as that will increase the ranking of the product. Change also for example, the website content that you have. If you think that you can improve it and make sure that the checkout workflow is sufficient. Also consider, for example, changing the price to be more competitive, because a more competitive pricing will allow you to get more impressions on Google Shopping. For example, change the sale price or add a promotion. All of these should be done before you consider removing a product, so that you don't lose out on any potential sales. What you can also do if you have a lot of products is set up a script to send the data to exclude a product based on specific criteria to a spreadsheet. And from the spreadsheet you can then use a data feed mechanic where you can then exclude based on the spreadsheet info. Not all data feed solutions offer this solution. However, I do have a solution on how to do that. So you can contact me on how to implement a more advanced exclusion rules. So for now, I will teach you how to exclude a product in Google Ads or in Google Merchant Center, including Performance Max. So let's get into it. Okay, so now that we have our Google Ads account open, let's go into your shopping campaign. So this one is the standard shopping campaign. Let's simply click on it. And then we are in the ad groups section. Click on your specific ad group that you want, or sometimes it will say all products or all groups. Let's click on that. And then to show the individual products, what we want to do is hover over the product group, and then you will see the plus icon and it says add subdivisions. So let's click on that. Now change your subdivide by to item ID, and then if you want to either select just one specific one, but I recommend you do all of them, and then select save without editing bids. This will then show all the products. Make sure that you also check everything else that it is enabled. Sometimes this will set to excluded, and we don't want that to happen, because otherwise everything will be excluded if you're adding a new product. And if you forget, for example, to manually add a product, then it will fall into this section, and if you have that excluded, then of course that is not being advertised. So enable that to ensure you avoid that issue. Now let's say we have a very bad performing product and we have improved everything that we can. All you have to do is just go hover over here and then click on exclude. So now that will exclude that specific product. Here it is. So if we want to re-include that, simply go to include selection, and there we go, everything is included. The same we can do with Performance Max. So all we do is select our Performance Max campaign, then go to Asset Groups. And if you have encountered that sometimes it's loading constantly without showing the asset groups, all you have to do is right click on the browser and then select reload, and then it will show up a lot quicker. I've noticed that it sometimes just hangs, not sure for what reason, but it does improve the speed in showing that if it constantly cycles, like it is a little bit doing now. I would say after 10 seconds, if it doesn't load, reload. So now we go to listings groups, and we do the same. So if we have a subdivision, this is already subdivided, but you can subdivide into item IDs all the time, regardless of how you've set it up. So for example, if we want to choose scarves, click on the plus icon, change the subdivide by to item ID, select all of them, and then save. Drop down everything. As you can see, everything else here is set to exclude, so make sure that you include that to avoid accidentally excluding new products as well. So let's assume this is a bad performing product down here, for example, and then just click on exclude, and that will stop it. The benefit of doing it within Google Ads is that it's a lot quicker for you to exclude a product, so you don't have to wait until, for example, the data feed is processed or when the data feed app has been reprocessed. So that can sometimes take up to 24 hours. So if you have an emergency and you need to do it immediately, then this is the best method that you do. Now let's go to Google Merchant Center, and there are two methods that you can do it here as well. The first one is using a supplement feed. So let's assume we already know which item ID we want to exclude. So I will just copy a random ID here. Let's copy that, there we go. And now go to feeds, and we want to add a supplement feed. We can call this exclude, and then Google Sheets. It will pop up with your account if you have multiple accounts, and then use generate a new Google spreadsheet from a template. Click on continue. Let's apply that to the UK feed. Now that has been added, you can go and open the Google Sheet, and what we want to do is add an ID column. Then underneath it we will paste our ID, and then in the second column we will type in excluded destination with an underscore, and then what we want to type in is shopping ads with also an underscore. Now that you've saved, wait till that says saved. Then go back to Google Merchant Center, open your Google Sheet feed, supplement feed, and what we want to do is fetch now, or you can click in the top right corner, fetch now, and that will then apply the excluded rule within half an hour. You can also do that with the feed rules. So let's go to the primary feed, and let's select this one, that's the UK feed, and select feed rules. Let's click on the plus icon and then begin typing excluded, and there we go. We can select process attributes. And what we want to do is if ID equals the ID that we've just copied, then we set it to exclude shopping ads. You can also, if you want to exclude it from free listings, select multiple, and then you can actually add both of them. There we go. Then we want to click on OK, save as draft, and then click on apply. This will not apply straight away because the feed needs to be reprocessed. So what you can do is either click on fetch now in the top right corner, or you can click on reprocess feed. As mentioned earlier, there's also a more advanced method that you can create a script within Google Ads that says, for example, if impressions above 10,000 and the CTR is below 0.2%, then add this ID to the feed, to a spreadsheet, and then with the data feed rule, depends of course on which data feed solution you're using, but you can then set it to exclude if the ID is present in the spreadsheet. This will then automate the heavy lifting. If you have a lot of products, this will be very useful to exclude products this way. So that's pretty much how you exclude a product in Google Ads or in Google Merchant Center. Both will work, but there are benefits and negatives in both platforms. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm happy to help. Thank you for watching.